So, following to our last session that we had, where we basically I gave a overview of all the topics that I'll be covering as part of the Python data engineering program. So let's start with the fundamentals. So, like any other programming language, Python is also one of the most popular languages in the market today, and particularly when you come across the data ecosystem, it is one of the most popular one, and being used by a lot of data engineers and data scientists for their own purpose. The reason why it is very popular is that because of its large modules. Since, as you know, Python is an open source, so anyone can create a module of theirs and put. So the best thing about Python is there are a lot of modules specific for data engineering or data science or data analysis. So, and that is one of the reason that Python is really popular. Also, the ease of understanding the language. So if you write any code in a Java compared to the same logic being implemented in Python, you will find reading the Python code much easier than Java, though uh, Java has its own set of advantages in application development area. So anyway, we'll be covering Python here. So Python is primarily made up of two modes, that is the interactive mode and the uh, batch mode. So interactive mode is nothing but if you, so basically in interactive mode, as the name says, the computer interacts with you as you enter the code in Python. So I'll show you exactly what I'm trying to talk about. So if I open command prompt and open Python, I'll get three greater than signs followed up with this blinking cursor. So if I say, for example, I'll explain what I'm writing. So basically, I'm creating one variable, I'm creating another variable, and then I'm adding both of these variables. So as you see, as you write the code, you get the output from the computer as you enter the enter button. So this is the one of the modes, that is the interactive mode. But here, in our case, I'll be covering the batch mode where we write the whole script and then ask Python to run the application. So the Python application's extension is .py. Okay. So as you go along, as you enter the data engineering space as well, so there would be a main.py file specifically that initiates the whole process. Um, so we'll come in detail about that, but just remember for now that the extension for any Python application is .py. Uh, and I'm doing it on Notepad plus plus. This is a free tool that you can download from internet. And also there are specific IDEs, that is the integrated development environments, like PyCharm, Visual Studio, so IntelliJ. So all these things could be used to write your Python code. I'll be elaborating on this, particularly on PyCharm, once we enter the PySpark sessions. So for now, for our basic coverage purpose, we'll just use Notepad++ as our only tool. So I'll start with say comments. So these are very basics. Like so, for example, if you want, this is very basic but very important, because say for example you write a code of say 1,000 lines, and you have to get it evaluated by a third person. So uh, in case he reviews your code and he comes across those 1,000 lines of codes, he won't be able to understand what exactly you are trying to implement. This is where comments comes into the picture, and in a very big way. So basically you can write normal English what exactly you feel you are implementing, like I am sorry, code adds two numbers. Okay, so as he will read the code, he will understand that okay, the next snippet of codes would basically end up adding two numbers. So how do we implement comments? So basically, everything that is preceded by this hash value is known as comments. So for example, if you have a comment, my first Python program. Okay. So if I say right here, print hello all, and say print, sorry, say hello world. Okay. And if I end up saving this, say for example here as a a session 1.py. Okay. What we'll do, we'll go to the path where we have saved our file. Here I have saved it in Python tutorials. You select this, or rather click this and press CMD and click enter. So basically what it will happen is that you'll open a command prompt window as these path set. Okay. So now you can see, you have to be aware of different commands that we use, but then it hardly matters at this point of time. It's just that you go to the path, click on it, write CMD and then press enter. You will have this window open. Now, as you can see, we have this session one application, the Python file application that we have here. In order to run this, what we'll write is Python session1.py. As you can see the two print statements that we had there. And the most important thing is the comment here is not printed there, because this is, as I said, this is specifically for someone who is evaluating or reading your code, but not your application, right? You don't want to show the user that this is your first Python program, correct? So, and now if, say for example, I just enter a hash in front of this line, hello world. Now I save this and now go back and run the same command. You'll see only hello world being printed. So what you have observed is that anything that is preceded by hash turns out to be a comment. Okay. Now second thing is, say for example you have a huge statement that you have to put in as comment. Okay. And instead of writing in a single line, you prefer it to be divided into multiple lines like this. uh, this is multi-line comment. Please not consider this to be a Python code. I am learning Python. I am new to it. So one way is to put hash in front of every single statement. Okay. And that would be your comment. Or else there is this feature in Python wherein you put in three apostrophes and three apostrophes at the end, and this also acts as a comment. Okay, now say for example, now I save this, go back to a command prompt, run this again. You will only see the hello world part coming in. Okay, none of this part is displayed in the application once you run. And also, like for example, I just remove this hash from the front. I save this, I go back to command prompt, I run the command. So again you see both the print statements are visible. So this is all about comments. So basically we comment single line comments and multi-line comments. For single line comments we had this hash preceding our comment, and for multi-line we had this three apostrophes that we could use for our purpose. Okay, so thank you. In the next section I'll be covering the variables and data types.